Welcome to CityWise. I'm your host, Tiana Stevens. CityWise is produced by the City of Rochester to shine a spotlight on city living at its best. Well, for decades, an organization in Rochester has been dedicated to strengthening the entire community, one child, one student, and one family at a time. Ibero American Action League is a resource for businesses, a dual-language human services agency, and much more. Joining us now is Tricia Cruz, Director of Development and Communications at Ibero, and Ida Perez, Director of Children, Youth, and Emergency Services. Thanks for coming on, ladies.
Thank you for having us.
Of course.
Give us a little background on Ibero. It's almost 50 years old now, just a couple years away.
Right. Ida has been around for much longer than I have been, so I'll let her answer.
So Ibero, as you know, as you mentioned, started over 47 years ago, and pretty much the same purpose that we're serving today, which was to help Latinos at that time be acclimated into the city. There was a small group of Latinos that have been here since the 60s, and they found that there wasn't enough resources or people that spoke the language that can help those newcomers. And so they started out with a very small budget that the Catholic Diocese gave them, and from there Ibero evolved. There's been many transitions throughout the years, but our purpose is the same, which is to serve our community. And at that time, the focus was mostly on Latino, but today we service everyone.
Right, and you've grown quite a bit. Tricia, how many employees do you have?
We actually have approximately 250 employees, and a lot of people don't realize just how big we are.
Right. How many sites would you say?
We have more than 20 sites, and we have 4 major divisions. We have our children, youth, family, and developmental disabilities.
So I wanted to start with some of the services that are provided, and Ida, education is one of your specialties.
So we have in the programs that I oversee is children and youth and emergency services, and we service children as early as 6 weeks all the way up to 5 years old. One of the things that's unique about the daycare at Ibero is that it's completely free to the families who qualify. And so it's a high quality, comprehensive type of program. We not just work with the children, but with the entire family. We also have the youth services, and most of those services are provided in the schools. We have a pre-mentoring program at Monroe High School, a family services assistant program at East High School, and then we have some of the extended learning programs both at 9, 7, and 17. We also have other programs around alcohol and drug prevention, as well as pregnancy prevention and education. We just started a new program, Gear Up, which is for students that are doing well and helping them with that process entering into college. Our emergency services, as the name says it, we service anyone that is probably facing an emergency situation. So we provide food and lots of resources for housing, clothing, job readiness, all sorts of things of that nature. We currently have a GED program there. I was just telling Tricia today, we just started August 10th, and we have like 20 students already.
Wow.
And the good thing about this GED program is that it's bilingual, and there's nothing attached to the students that have to come here. So it's not like another agency is sending them. They're there because they want to be there and they want to get their education. So it kind of opens a different door for us being able to service people that really want to progress. And then some of the other services, family services, which has a program for families that are going through the system of child protective. And so they have case managers that kind of help them through that process. They also have a program for people that are coming out of mental institutions and that need to be acclimated back into the community. And so they help them find housing and employment and all those basic needs that they need to come back into the community. And then our developmental disabilities, which is people with disabilities, we have about 8 houses throughout the city that provide 24-hour service to those folks. They also have a day hab where people can come and they do arts and crafts and receive some medical assistance and things of that nature. And they even have a secondhand store located at the corner of Conkey and Clifford that the people from the DD department help manage that so they can gain some skills, some working skills that they may be able to use somewhere else later on.
Seems like there's a service or a program at every stage of life. How do people come to Ibero? How do they hear about your services?
You know, one of the things I would just like to add is that the Early Childhood Center, which falls under EIDA, is having great success. And within 5 months, it received 5 awards. And 3 of those included a Certificate of Excellence for moving families towards self-sufficiency, facilitating parent volunteerism, and identifying and enrolling families and individuals in GED programs. And I mention that because that's so important to really not only strengthen families, but to strengthen the entire community.
What do families say? What is the feedback when they hear about free daycare? That's such a huge issue for parents.
We always have a long waiting list, of course, because everybody wants to be able to get that. You know, we have found that we wish we had ways to expand that and be able to service more families, just because with child care subsidies being cut the way that they have been, it's been very difficult for families to find ways to pay for daycare, but more so daycares that are of high quality and that provide services for the entire family. So you were talking about how do people find out? A lot of times it's word of mouth. We get a lot of people that just walk in and said, somebody told me that I can come here and I can get this and this and that. And so it's a lot of it is through word of mouth, and us being, you know, having the longevity in the community. A lot of people know about Ibero. Some people don't, but a lot of people do.
And we actually have a waiting list at the Early Childhood Center. And it is more than just a daycare, because if you visit that site, you will see our bilingual staff working with these children, developing their motor skills, their literacy skills. We have an awesome health and wellness program taking place there now.
And it's very comprehensive. We have a nurse, we have a speech pathologist, so we have all these, we have a behavioral health consultant. So anything and everything that involves that child, we can provide it right there in one location.
And we work with the parents there as well.
Wonderful. Now, speaking of health, you have a big event coming up that's centered around health. Can you tell us about that?
Yes. So we're having our first 5K run and walk ever. We've been around since 1946, and so now it's the first time. And we have a couple of reasons for doing that. And one of the reasons is because we really are taking a new focus on health and wellness, not only for the individuals that we serve, but also for the employees. And our guest speaker at the first 5K run and walk will be our Chief Financial Officer, who actually suffered a heart attack earlier this year and underwent quadruple bypass surgery. So he's going to be our featured speaker. He's going to talk about his road to recovery. So that's one reason, but also at EIDA's Early Childhood Center, she has a health and wellness program taking place there that's just phenomenal.
Yeah, we started about 3 years ago. It's been a process, because the changes that we've made are things that don't always, you know, sit well with parents. For example, we finally accomplished this, but one of our goals was to eliminate birthday parties with cake and ice cream, which is the traditional thing that parents do. Because our kids are so close in age, you can have up to 5 parties in 1 week. And so one of the things that we chose to do was to change that, where they have healthy snacks instead. So you still can bring something, but it's not going to be cake and ice cream or bags of candy, things of that nature. We've revamped our entire menu, providing more whole wheat with our pastas, better cuts of meat, introducing more fruits and vegetables, providing nutrition classes to our parents as well as our staff, because like she said, it's not just the families that we serve, but our staff as well. A person like myself who've always struggled with weight, you know, it's really important for me that if we have the opportunity for children as young as 6 weeks to teach them good eating habits, and they do spend, you know, 6.5 hours with us, so we have a great opportunity to start those habits very early on. And so that's one of our goals with our health plan.
Sure. Why is the work of Ibero so important to Rochester?
You know, the way I see it, it's so important because we always hear about the low high school graduation rate. We hear about lack of jobs, or we hear all these different negative things. But behind the walls at Ibero, something different is taking place. We're having great success with children and with their parents. You know, preparing them for school, providing academic and social support while they're in school, and then helping mothers and fathers become better parents and teaching them life skills. And we have parents who come back to us and tell us that because of our programs and services, they were able to go back to school, secure housing, employment, and completely be independent and self-sufficient. So what we're doing, again, is not just strengthening the entire family unit and children and high school students, but it's helping the entire community, and not just Rochester, but Monroe County.
Sure. And how can the community reach back and help your organization?
There are so many ways. You know, one of the many ways is just for people to be aware that we do serve people of all backgrounds. And it's not about people coming to us for a handout. It's about really them learning life skills, and then about just visiting our website, becoming more familiar with what we do, spreading the word. And obviously, since we are a nonprofit, we really, you know, donations, funding, that's what really keeps us going.
I noticed on your website is there a list to items of need? Is there something on the website for people?
Right, and you know, either at the emergency services, we're always
Yeah,
looking.
we're always looking for canned goods, toiletries, which is a big item that most pantries look for, clothing, anything of that nature that can help people out.
Wonderful. Well, thanks, ladies, for coming on, and thank you for what you do in our city. Ibero is located at 817 East Main Street. That's the main headquarters, and you can call 256-8900 for more information, or visit IAAL.org. CityWise will be right back.